and welcome to this week's Three Legs Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Chris.
Dan.
No, you're not.
No, you're not, Dan.
And you're not an elk either.
Hello, Lee.
You don't have a website.
I'm Dan.
You're not.
I hate everyone that isn't white.
Started already. This is
Don't
terrible.
make me have that conversation with you again.
Oh, okie dokie.
For legal purposes, Dan is a wonderfully liberal man. He's just not here because he's being secret Dan.
Yes.
Off on his travels.
I think this is the last week of his travels.
Non-attendance.
Non-attendance.
He'll be re-attending next week.
He will be back next week, so he's going to have to learn about everything that's happened in testing pretty quick.
Yes.
Talking of which,
I am Lee, by the way.
Hello,
you're like the
Lee.
Highlander, there can be only one, it's just that there turned out to be seven of you. And a series. Testing.
Testing.
Yeah, good for some. And then McLaren.
But we our last podcast was recorded on the end of the day one of test one, and we're recording tonight's on the eve of the second test. So we now know
It's
what
Testimus
happened.
Eve. Have you put your testing stocking up?
Have you put your testes? Oh, sorry. No.
What was in those biscuits?
But we now know a little bit more about the first test. We were speculating an awful lot about after the first day about McLaren's reliability issues. They crept up an awful lot throughout the first test again. They did go through, I think it was 5 engines in 4 days.
Yep.
It's looking more like 2015 than 2016 for McLaren. No progress at all whatsoever from what looks like last season. Even when Stoffel and Fernando did manage to get decent runs in, they were so far off the pace it was embarrassing.
Were they just nursing the cars round though, just to make sure they could actually
Well, that's what's the point.
get the laps in to see if
Well, they had to bring in a fix, didn't they, for the oil problem?
that was Monday's issue.
Yeah. No, but they had to run that fix through the rest of the test.
Yeah. And Honda are saying, oh, yeah, it might not be perfect. And Eric Boulier is saying...
It's not good enough.
Which is the most definite he's been.
Yeah. But, I mean, when you look at the actual times, and I think Stoffel and Fernando both set laps in the final 2 days of of testing, on ultra soft tyres, the kitten softs, as we've affectionately named them. Now, they are supposed to be the fastest tyre. Being the softest rubber,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be able to go out and do a flying lap on them. They're not going to last an awful long time on the Barcelona circuit, and they were still like 2.5 seconds off Kimi Raikkonen's fastest time of I think it was the third day of testing.
Because Thursday was wet day because they...
Yeah, I think Raikkonen was fastest that day as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but the really annoying thing is if you time annoying for somebody like me who is hoping for a bit of McLaren progress. If you time correct the difference between the tyres for last year, we don't know what the difference is this year. It was 4 seconds adrift of Kimi Raikkonen's time, because I think Kimi did his lap on the softs. So you've got to really question that's the biggest question over the first test for me, is McLaren's reliability issues and the just the general fuckassery of the whole lot.
Yeah, I mean the new revolutionary Honda engine, which is now made to a similar design as Mercedes and completely different to the Ferrari and the Renault engine. They've not got that right.
No, they've got it very wrong. I think we said last week it's almost like, well, we know how this works. They've seen drawings, they've seen pictures, and they know what the end result should be, but they can't do the middle bit.
I think I heard one explanation. I can't remember who it was from. I think it might have been somebody from Honda saying, "Well, we've got a piece of a very heavy metal shaft that has to spin very fast, and it just doesn't seem to be able to spin very fast reliably because of the length of it." It's like, well, what are you doing?
How did the Germans manage it?
Yeah. Efficiency.
Exactly, yeah, that's it. So I mean, but let's not wallow too much on the 1 point from.
Well, just quickly, I'm just trying to find something on the fly here.
Are you googling whilst recording?
Yeah, because
He's cheating. He's using his right hand.
I'm looking for.
Something McLaren related.
No, all I wanted to see was the difference in time. So there's the Monday test times. So Fernando Alonso was 3 seconds slower than Lewis Hamilton.
On which tyre?
I think he was on the softs. It doesn't say the tyre. I'm sure it was a soft. In 2015,
Yeah,
Jenson Button was 3 seconds slower.
than Lewis Hamilton.
That way, it was Roman Grosjean which was first. But essentially, who they I don't know if we can read anything into that, but
That Grosjean goes faster because he never got any brakes.
yeah, but they're the same. They're the same distance back from.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they're in fact Roman Grosjean, who would have been with no fuel and like on whatever the softest tires was.
Bag sanding.
Yeah. Roman Grosjean, Nico Rosberg was only just slower. So if you take Grosjean out of it, Button was still 3 seconds off
Rosberg's pace.
which would be what
Apparent-
they were
yeah.
in the first day of testing this year.
So they've improved at the same rate that other teams have improved, but for a team that has been well down on what their position should be with the resources at their disposal.
Languishing, I think, is a
I
word
think
to use.
that is the only word to use. They should have actually improved more to get back to where, really and truthfully, they should be.
Yeah. Well, I remember us thinking last year, like we didn't write McLaren off on the first test last year. We were still unsure of where they were. This year, we seem very sure of where they are.
Well, it's not just us, is it? I mean, there's a lot of media outlets feeling the same. It's just that they, when I say they, I mean McLaren. McLaren aren't putting out an awful good impression of themselves so far.
No.
That might change in the second test. You know, we've got 4 days after tonight of testing in Barcelona again.
Do you know
Second
what,
and final test.
If it wasn't for the fact that after the first test or during the first test, they felt the need to have a joint Honda McLaren press conference saying everything's fine,
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
Yeah.
But the fact that they felt the need to start damage limitation immediately
While there was still actual testing going on.
suggests to me that there is something massively wrong with that engine.
I'm going to stick my neck out here, and I don't think that McLaren will be powered by Honda in 2018.
When is the deal up?
2020, is it?
2020, but there's got to be a performance clause in there.
Well, if there was, they would have had it already. But the...
Well, who'd you go to?
Who's supplying the least number of teams?
Ferrari.
Yeah.
The Ferrari aren't going to supply McLaren, are they?
No.
The-
Mercedes, I mean, isn't there a... don't Ferrari have to supply them?
They have the engine manufacturers have to supply a team if a team is left without an engine supply, and I think they've got to decide between them.
So I wonder if that would work if it was voluntarily,
Yeah,
because that
this is the thing.
throws a completely new thing into.
Well, this is the thing.
mix,
I
doesn't
think I said last week. I'd be on the phone to, if I was Zach Brown, I'd be on the phone to other engine companies, just gauging interest more than anything. Ford.
Yeah.
Even though their hybrid technology doesn't seem to be the way they look at things. Toyota perhaps.
Well, they
has
built
a
one, didn't they? Ford built a hybrid engine.
just to see if they could.
Yeah.
Stick the knife in and twist it. Go to Toyota. Toyota are fairly up with their hybrid race cars.
It'll be a long time before Toyota's in any sort of motorsport again.
And you've got BMW.
Who are putting all their motorsport resources into everything apart from Formula One now.
Porsche.
You
know, there are...
Yeah, McLaren and Porsche didn't part company on the best of terms back in the 80s.
And don't forget, this is the thing.
When they rebranded the engines as tags.
Yeah. But you're talking about a quick solution is needed. Because McLaren aren't invulnerable from like from the Formula One cliff. You know, we've seen it year after year. For a while there, it looked like Williams might fucking drop out.
Yeah.
And
we have seen big names go.
Yeah.
Brabham, Lotus.
And
Yeah.
don't forget, the only reason that Williams managed to get themselves back on kilter was the fact that BMW decided to come into Formula One. But there is no white knight there for McLaren. You know, there is no obvious manufacturer out there which is looking to get back into Formula One. Realistically, Honda should have been the white knight or white samurai. But it's just not happened.
No.
it hasn't.
I mean, Honda have said that they fixed the oil problem on the first day, and then the engine started letting go.
Yeah, ran out of oil. We fixed the oil problem. What you do? Took it all out.
Yeah, it's like,
There's none of it left in to go wrong.
I found it hilarious that all the reports were, the McLaren has pulled into the pits because of an engine fire. And it wasn't really a fire; it was just pissing smoke out the back.
Yeah.
I suppose no smoke without fire, etc., etc.
Like,
But I mean, that's the.
Or there's like some like real country bumpkin type guy that they've got in there doing the mechanics, going, "God damn, Elf was in the engine."
But then it was, there were some positive things to take from the first test as well. Ferrari looked pretty handy at the moment.
Yes.
Did last year. I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
Backstanding?
They will snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
When Mercedes turn up at the first race and go on then, turn it up.
I think if anyone is there, because even though they haven't set the timing screens alive, Red Bull are still talking a big game. And I think there is so much more to come from both Red Bull and Toro Rosso.
Yeah, I think that Red Bull, and it seems to be general consensus amongst most Formula One journalists as well, is that Red Bull is nothing like the car that will actually turn up in Melbourne. There are bits to be bolted onto that, probably during the second test in various guises.
I bet it won't be this test, mate. It'll be, like you say, various guises, individual things will be tested, won't they?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. It won't be the whole car. The whole car won't be tested in one go.
Yeah, I read today that Mercedes have got something like 15 new upgrade parts that they're going to be testing this week.
15 new.
Yeah, 15 upgrades to what looked pretty bloody handy last week.
Yeah.
We know the Mercedes that is going to be going around Barcelona this week isn't going to be the Mercedes that's going around Melbourne.
Well, yeah, we pretty much know. I mean, Mercedes are still Mercedes are undecided as to whether or not they want to run the shark fin on the back of their car.
Yeah. How long before the shark fin gets chucked out? Because Ross Brawn is giving some serious thought to the shark fin and the whale tail.
Yeah.
And getting rid.
This is all the FIA's fault, isn't it? Did we talk about this last week?
We kind of touched on it a little bit last week.
All the teams agreed.
So they weren't going to have it.
Yeah, Christian Horner put the motion forward to the teams association, saying these fins are ugly. It's a clear aerodynamic advantage, so we're all going to have one. So if we all just agree not to have one, the cars will look better. And that was the whole reason to do it. It was an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, and the FIA turned around and said, "Nah, you can have them."
Never in fucking history, apart from that time that the devil was ice skating, have all Formula One teams agreed on something. They should have just gone, yeah, we've all said it, and the FIA should have been like, yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But then the FIA don't write it into the rules.
No.
And then lo and behold, up they pop.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because one team were going to do it, and then they would have had the advantage over everyone. So everyone's got to do
I mean, it doesn't say specifically in the rules that it's not allowed, so therefore implicitly it must be allowed. It's like the instruction manual. It didn't say don't fill it full of washing up liquid.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I did, and then plugged it in, and it blew up.
Yeah. Well, that's
It's the big cruise control myth, isn't it? You know, the urban legend that all camper vans in the owner's manuals have to say, don't leave the steering wheel unattended in cruise control.
Because it doesn't steer for you.
Because allegedly someone thought that it did, and it didn't say in the owner's manual that it didn't, so he got up and made a brew and crashed.
Yeah.
Which apparently it's an urban legend.
Yeah. But imagine that, having like hot coffee poured or like semi-hot coffee poured all over you, and just be, if crashing your camper van wasn't bad enough.
I once used a hairdryer in a hotel room, and in massive letters strapped to the side of the hairdryer it said "Do not use in shower."
It's the fact that people have to be reminded about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, when the last kettle I bought, I was looking in the instruction manual. It said, "Do not use in a bathroom."
I think there's a terrible thing about the human race being having to be reminded about stuff.
Weakening the gene pool.
Yeah, well, the TV adverts on you see now on television, which is like that. If she says no, it's rape. A man shouldn't have to be reminded not to rape people.
The one that sort of sticks in my head about a similar thing. So, what's the biggest cause of rape? Rapists.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but in trying to get this back on track from that, the FIA have basically dumbed down the rules of Formula One so that everybody has had to put these stupid. Well, I don't know if they're stupid, but they don't look great, do they? These fins. I mean,
No, they are.
Ferrari have made theirs look pretty good.
On the whole, they are but ugly.
Yeah, we're not a fan of them really.
No, they just look too high. That's the problem. If they were sleek and they came down like they were tapered down like to the back to the height of the rear wing,
yeah,
it wouldn't look too bad.
Like the small Mercedes fin.
Yeah.
But that's horrible.
Yeah, so we've got that, but I mean other positive things from that first test. Jolyon Palmer's pace in that Renault. And now that Renault we were a little bit unsure of on last week's pod, but
it was a car that we were unsure of and a driver that we were unsure of.
He posted like the third best time at one point.
Yeah,
and he's been outperforming Nico Hülkenberg so far.
Well, did Hülkenberg run fifth at some point during?
I think actually he did. I think actually he did run fifth at one point.
There you go then.
Like I said, I'm glad they kept Palmer. I remember I said all last year that if it was between Palmer and Magnussen for me,
you go Palmer.
Because you know what you're getting with Magnussen. You're getting a Magnussen. Give Palmer a second chance, you might actually get a Formula One driver. And
it appears that he might be a Formula One driver.
Yeah, but it'll do no harm for his reputation if he can take down a man which won the 24 Hours of Le Mans on his own.
Yeah, exactly. Skateboarding backwards on top of a horse.
Yeah. Talking of K-Mag, I mean, of course, now he's become the first driver in the hybrid era to use all four engines.
Yeah, now that he's a Haas engine.
Yeah.
Totally average.
It's a dubious honour, isn't it?
Yeah, it just means that he doesn't really stick around a great deal.
He's also got become the Formula One driver with the most P45s.
Yeah, Kevin Magnus Beige, Beigerson.
2-year deal as well. He's got in it. 2-year deal with Haas.
Oh, is that? Well, it's got to be 1 year with a 1 year option. They couldn't be that daft.
I don't know.
Sorry, daft.
It was announced.
Double A.
It was. Don't make a Haas of yourself. It was announced as a 2-year deal.
Announced.
Yeah, Haas announced.
Haas announced.
Yeah,
that doesn't work.
Announced.
No, he's lost it. He can't tell his Haas from his Hellbow. I'll stop.
But
now.
yeah, I mean that Haas looks pretty handy though, doesn't it? In the testing.
Back in the room.
Sorry.
Although
apparently fairly quick.
Apparently they are still having brake issues. What are they doing wrong?
Romain Grosjean.
Yeah. Because they still weren't.
Didn't they overheat their brakes on one of their long runs?
Yeah, they weren't 100% happy with the way that the brakes were heating up, and there was a lack of cooling on them, which was the problem last year. And
I mean, maybe if it's just a lack of cooling, maybe it's not as bad a problem. And they're just a bit touchy when it comes to brake stuff now.
They didn't shatter and fragment this time, which that's an improvement.
But they were under a race.
No, that's it. I mean, they were under a situation which was controlled. You know,
I mean, you do get teams.
Was Grosjean belly controlled?
Yeah, that's it. Well, Grosjean in race mode is essentially, having a
Ramming speed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Grosjean in race mode is like the Hulk trying to rescue somebody. All the intentions are good.
yeah.
But just need to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. All the force is there. That's 1/10 human being under that shell.
Hulk!
Yeah,
Yeah, what is it? He's either fast or safe.
something like that.
Talking to someone that's neither. Lance Stroll. Oh,
Yeah,
torrid first week.
Difficult introduction to
We
Formula
might
One.
have a new game.
Yes.
Do you remember the pasta disaster predictor? Well, we might need a new name for our Lance Stroll game if he's as crashy as he's proven to be in the first week.
Yeah.
I like Stroll Patrol.
3 in 2 days. Stroll Patrol's good.
Stroll Patrol is good.
Will Lance roll?
Maybe.
Possibly. I mean, pasta disaster was anything was a pasta disaster, wasn't it? As long as his car fell apart.
There's a website now. Has Lance Stroll crashed today?
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so somebody had that up. I think it was it Wednesday that went up on his, on his second day of being crashy.
You know for a fact somebody sat there all smug because they bought the domain.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has Lance Stroll crashed today.com. Might have had a sugar crash after, eating all of his sweets and going out and not doing too well.
No, I
And
think after his week's testing, he was on the naughty step with no snacks.
Yeah.
It's
He's got a lot to learn.
Let's
from,
be generous and say he's young and he's got a steep learning curve.
Yeah, he's got a lot to learn from Felipe Massa, who actually did all right.
Massa's retirement and time away from Formula One hasn't dulled his ability.
Hang on, he didn't really have
didn't-
any
he
time
didn't
away from
retire.
Formula One.
Those 2 weeks.
Those 2 weeks he went on holiday for.
yeah. That's.
I've been on holiday for 2 weeks.
I
I
was joking. I
retired today. I left the house I was working at and then thought, I forgot my wallet and drove back.
So you have made a comeback to decorating.
Yes, I made a come back. Some would say I haven't started.
But yeah, Lance Stroll with 3 crashes in the 2 days. The third one, which just wiped Williams
out for the day.
Yeah, it did.
Having to get new parts in, which arrived Thursday afternoon, so they
Too
should
late.
be back on track tomorrow morning. Okay, so you are Claire Williams or Rob Smedley.
Well, Smedley defended him.
You have to decide on the testing strategy for this week. What do? Do you put Stroll in the car first thing on Tuesday, just to try and build his confidence, or do you put Massa in the car, just so that you can actually test the car?
Well, it's interesting you should say, because we have who is going to be in the car for the second test. Well, I have that in front of me anyway. I'm pretty sure you will at some point.
I will in a second. It's just that the problem is that the laptop that I brought with me tonight, which has got all the information on, has decided to lock itself up.
Have the hamsters not started spinning up yet?
No.
So Williams' test strategy is tomorrow in the car, Lance Stroll. And then on Wednesday...
All day?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then on Wednesday in the car, all day, providing... Lance Stroll.
They're giving him 2 consecutive days.
Yeah, and then Massa 2 consecutive days.
That is risky to me. That is possibly asking for trouble.
It's not, because if he goes and fucking totals the car, he loses his day, not Massa's day, and
Unless he totals it at the end of his second day.
Yeah, well, even so, there's still time to rebuild the car to get Massa out.
There's still time to get Jordan King over.
I bet they got more fucking parts.
I think they'll have now got two spare chassis there.
Don't forget, no matter how bad he is, with fucking 30 million ducats, he is not going anywhere.
No, that's the thing.
That figure has actually increased.
Doubled.
Yeah, well, it's increased today, the amount of money that he's bringing in.
Because he's had to pay for all the chassis.
If I can find it, because I'm working off my phone here because my laptop. Where's it gone? Williams and Bombardier Aircraft, otherwise known as Learjet,
Yeah.
they are now backing Lance Stroll.
Okay.
I wonder if we could use me as some sort of like viral marketing campaign to get us a free plane. We could just keep emailing them, go and give Learjet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's do it. Give Lee a jet.
Hashtag give Learjet.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be seeing those by Tuesday night. Yeah, he's.
I'll be seeing them from my plane.
Yeah, he has brought a new sponsor in.
Okay, so he's bringing a lot more money, but
Sorry, how much was the thing? I was
They've not actually talked figures, but he is going to be wearing the logo of an executive jet maker on his helmet.
Bombardier.
Yeah.
So basically, Williams have gone for the same driver for 2 days with crashy Lance Stroll. No other team, just having a quick look, has decided to go for the same driver for the first 2 days. Other than the two teams who split their drivers, being Mercedes and Renault. Hamilton will do the morning and Bottas will do the afternoon tomorrow.
Renault are splitting their drivers.
Yeah,
as
Renault
well.
are splitting their drivers. Yeah, and Palmer and Hulkenberg. Aside from that, no driver is actually doing 2 full days, other than the Williams drivers, consecutively.
So they are giving him the two straight days to try and get his confidence back. And if he totals the car on the first day, then at least Massa will get some running on the third and fourth.
Joe, it'll be interesting to see. You see if Stoffel has a fucking dog shit practice. Be interesting to see whether he's in the car on the second day or not.
What do you mean swaps out Alonso's?
If Lance Stroll has a fucking shite day.
Lance Stroll?
Yeah, sorry. If Van Dorn has a shite day.
Yeah.
On the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Alonso's there. I don't want to drive that.
What do you mean Alonso might jump ship?
Just give him another day. Let me see what happens.
Yeah. There's been rumblings, isn't there, as to whether or not we had this last year as well. If this McLaren's no good, is he off? Is he out of there? Is your best friend, your buddy, your bum boy Jensen back in?
Would Mila Bay even be bothered coming back to that car?
If the contract says he is the third driver and there isn't a first driver and they've only got a second one,
there'll be an option on both sides. You can't force somebody to drive a car.
Unless you're Toro Rosso and Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, I mean, even that we were still talking about whether he was going to manage to get out, which it looks like it's a good job he didn't now. But
yeah, that Toro Rosso looks fairly handy as well, doesn't it?
So I don't know. Like I say, I think if Button does come back, I reckon there'll have to be some sort of sweetener in it for him, like that second year, in case the car gets better.
I think as well, if that is Alonso done in Formula One, he'll pop up in a GT Championship at some point in the near future.
I've got a quote from Eric Boulier here from a few hours ago, actually.
We'll try not to McLaren bash the whole podcast.
Unfortunately, they're just giving us too much ammunition.
Yeah.
Eric Boulier isn't sure if Alonso will still be there next year. They are his words.
Yeah, next year, that's 2018. We've got 2017 to get through yet, and we're only in March, and the car is looking like a dog.
That Spanish newspaper that said he was going to walk last year is saying he's going to walk again this year, and I give absolutely no credence to that because it's a Spanish paper making up a story about a Spanish driver.
Could Renault? Well, which Spanish paper is it though?
AS something.
Right, it's not that. What is it? Is there like a Gazzetta or something like that?
Well, that's Italian.
That's Italian Gazzetta dello Sport.
Right.
No, they're Italian and accurate.
But there's a Spanish one which is broke every story on Alonso.
La Gazzetta.
Is that
Italian as well?
That's the Italian one.
No, yeah, there was one that's the Spanish press seemed to be quite up on the old
Yeah, but none of the major Spanish papers are reporting it. It's just one that nobody can find any other sources for.
Well, yeah, but there's always that's what happens when you break a story.
Yeah, but after a week.
Oh, is it a week old? Is it?
It's a week old, and nobody else has said anything to that extent.
Yeah.
So,
see, I often think as well Nobody tends to break stories in Formula One because, big publication like an Autosport or a BBC or a Sky.
Yeah.
They don't tend to break stories because it's so corporate. The whole sport is so corporate that
There are
everyone is
announcements.
terrified of upsetting somebody.
Yeah.
Because if you upset somebody, then all of a sudden you have your media privileges revoked and you're fucked.
Well, in Bernie's dictatorship days, that may have been the case.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I can't see, unless something drastically changes to that McLaren tomorrow,
Yeah,
I can't see Alonso driving that this year.
which is fair enough.
Well, apparently the car is going to be completely different by the time they get to Australia. They've got some major upgrades planned for the race.
Where it needs to be.
So
But who says that's going to work?
Yeah, but what does that make the next 4 days if this car's not going to be anywhere remotely similar to?
And what are the
What they're gonna be
upgrades?
racing
Filming
it?
days.
You can ask Boulier and he will not give you an answer.
No, but the thing is, generally with stuff like this, and I would say the way McLaren are talking, I bet those upgrades are chassis related. Because if they had another engine to stick in the back of the car, they'd have already said after that engine let go fucking every time I got on the track, they'd have already said, oh well, we have a like an A spec engine for the next test, but nobody said that. So it doesn't matter what area you strap to the fucking car. If that engine is going to go pop every time someone tries to put the foot down, the car could be the fastest car on the grid, like we've been told it is for the last 2 years.
So basically, what could happen is it takes the longest time to come to a halt when it's running under chassis power.
Yeah.
Move on to happier things. We sort of touched on Carlos Sainz being forced to drive for Toro Rosso and being glad that
Well,
he
he
did.
has got fabulous hair.
He does have good hair.
Toro Rosso aren't doing too bad car-wise, are
Toro
they?
Rosso
as well as the hair.
looks fairly handy, and there have been a couple of pictures.
Hairly fandy.
Handy. Looks
They-
like he's. They've had those split pictures, haven't they? How similar it is with the Mercedes.
Yeah.
Incredibly similar.
Yeah, James Key was looking at Mercedes going, oh, they've done that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we touched on that last week with the thing, but now there have actually been pictures side by side where somebody's very cleverly stitched the two cars together without using too much Photoshop by those things, and we're like, hang on a second, they are incredibly similar.
Yeah.
So if that Mercedes is a decent chassis, well then guess what? So is that Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso are saying that they are looking like the top of the midfield.
I think that might be conservative.
That's better than saying we're the best of the rest.
I think Toro Rosso might find themselves amongst Ferrari, Red Bull territory.
I think Toro Rosso were a solid bet for fourth and pushing for podiums.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Just based on the car.
I'll tell you why I think that too is the fact that there seems to be a quiet confidence in the way they've gone about the testing.
Yeah, they're not being brash about anything.
Yeah.
They're just getting on with it.
It's almost like they know they've got a good car underneath them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. All they need to do is test the car and make sure it works and make sure the bits work.
I mean, it looks good, as we touched on last week when we were talking about the car launches, and it goes well.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how we won't see anything really in anger until Melbourne, but it would be really good to see them get that boost pushed higher up the grid.
Realistically, even if they're still behind Red Bull, they have the best chance of having like a good year for them.
Yeah.
Because realistically, for Red Bull, anything short of challenging for the championship will be a failure this year.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Whereas all Toro Rosso need to do is be really competitive.
Yeah,
and
if
they'll
it-
have a fucking scorcher of a year.
If they're in the mix, it's a good year. I mean, don't forget they've still only, as a team, they've only had that one podium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, it was a top step, and
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be seeing a Toro
Which is
Rosso.
crazy considering the like what's happened with the Big Brother team.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be seeing a Toro Rosso driver on a podium at some point this year.
Yeah, that's
It would not surprise me,
No.
and I think it'll be their first dry podium.
Be interesting to see how Danny Kvyat does this year.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that as well.
It took we said all the way through the latter half of last year. It took him a while to come back, but he seems to have recovered.
I still think it was the wrong choice. I think they should have stuck Gasly in.
He's in Super Formula now.
Yeah, he is.
Is he going to do better than Stoffel? That'll be the tester.
Will be. But the only reason I think they should have stuck Gasly in the team is because, it's unprecedented for somebody to get demoted from Toro Rosso to from Red Bull to Toro Rosso, but you're back down. But if you've already been demoted, Carlos Sainz is already still there in Toro Rosso.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
There is
unless
more
you
chance
get
of
out.
me getting a Red Bull drive than him. So why is he there?
Reliable Danny Kvyat? I don't know. I don't know if you could even.
Yeah, but that's not Toro Rosso's job, is it?
No,
Toro
not
Rosso's
really.
job is to feed the main team.
They are a factory effectively. They put children in at one end and Red Bull drivers come out the other.
Yeah, pretty much. But something else to.
No.
Oh come on! I was setting you up perfectly for that.
No. That would have just gone far too dark.
We haven't already been there.
Obviously, some of the rejects come out a different chute and go to Formula E.
But
not that dark.
But something else positive as well, which is sort of positive, sort of negative, I guess, depending on which perspective you're looking at it from. Sauber.
Yeah, Giovinazzi looked great.
Giovinazzi looked awesome in that car.
Yeah.
Marcus Ericsson made it look like a dog.
That's because Marcus Ericsson can't drive.
And now Pascal Wehrlein is going to get in the car for the second test. He is fit to drive.
He has been past fit today.
His hair is going to be looking awesome. On point, I believe the kids say these days. And
Looks like it's painted on.
Paint on paint.
I thought it was on fleek.
On fleek. That's eyebrows, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Abort.
Yeah.
Abort this conversation
Yeah, we'll
immediately.
kill that
But yeah,
conversation off. But yeah,
Giovinazzi made the Sauber look reasonable.
Yeah.
After Ericsson made it look pretty slow.
Yeah, obviously Ericsson has, I would say, the safest seat in Formula One. He's even safer than Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
Because
your friends have bought the team.
Yeah, without Ericsson, there isn't a team.
Yeah, but
He's as safe as Lance Stroll.
it may
Safer.
I still think that team's still looking for sponsorship. So I've got a funny feeling that they haven't put on. For the money a Formula One team needs, I don't think they'll put a huge amount in.
I think they've put enough in
To
keep it ticking over. And maybe get the odd upgrade, because we had the situation with Sauber last year where they weren't able to upgrade anything because they didn't have the money.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be slightly less of the case this year, where they can do the odd tweak, they can make a slight dint
Yeah.
in the times with a little upgrade, but they're not going to be able to seriously upgrade the performance of the car unless they get some names
Do you think they're
on all
digging
that big white space down the side.
fucking digging their fingernails into Formula One, just clawing and scraping, hoping that they can stay in long enough for the Concord Agreement to sort the pay structure out?
That wouldn't surprise me. And do you know what I reckon will happen when the new money is discussed in the new Concord Agreement with Liberty, and it's more fair and it's more equitable? That team's going to be worth a lot more than what's been put in, and then they will be able to sell it to some incredibly richer people and say, would you like a Formula One team? We're getting out of it now.
Yeah,
Or
We
even,
want our money back because we're having to pay interest on everything that we paid.
or even a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've spotted, didn't I, on the back of that Ferrari, a slightly enlarged from last year Alfa Romeo logo.
Yeah, I'd like to see Alfa back in Formula One, but again, what's the point if it's just going to be a Ferrari B team?
Well, that's what it would be. It would be a
Yeah,
Ferrari. But I think
so-
Ferrari have looked at the model that Haas took last year and sort of looking at sort of how Toro Rosso have fed Red Bull and how Mercedes were having their drivers put through at Manor.
Yeah.
And been like, hang on a second, Haas we're going to help them along a little bit, but we could do this by ourselves. And having an Alfa Romeo team in Formula One would do just that for them. We've you talk about the new Concord Agreement. Let's just, I know this isn't on the running orders. I'm going a bit rogue here, but that article that article, yeah, a little bit off piste. Careful now. But the that article that I posted up about Sean Bratches and his commercial development plans for Formula One. He has said, bear in mind it's only words, but he has said all the right things. That you give the fans the right experiences, they watch the sport, the money comes rolling in, the teams get the money, the sport is better, more fans come in.
But this comes straight off the back of 35 years of Bernie saying, this is what we are going to do, this is what you are going to enjoy, this is what you are going to pay to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there might be just words, but it's the words that people wanted to hear.
Yeah, but he said that, you are going to see a difference. Fans will notice a difference throughout the 2017 season. We've gone for what did he say? An aggressive strategy, which means that we will be an aggressive commercial strategy.
Well, letting the teams actually promote themselves in the paddock on social media.
Yeah.
Starting that just that's incredible. Because something like that, just little things like letting the teams publish their own videos, brings fans closer into it.
Yeah, of course it does.
And I should have.
That must be one of those teams getting in touch with you, is it, Paul?
No, it's I'm naming and well, not naming and shaming because it's my own fault for leaving my phone on my desk. But hi, Dwayne Schoenberg.
Hello, Dwayne. Regular listener, Dwayne Schoenberg.
Just naming and shaming, coming in, messaging us, giving us questions.
Yeah, how dare Dwayne? How dare you ask a question that you want us to ask on the podcast
whilst we're recording?
Which is a really good question, and we are gonna talk about this in a bit when we get to the mailbag. Cheers for that, Dwayne. Right. But where was I? Yeah, things like they want an aggressive marketing strategy. And they're not having to do it all themselves. They're letting the teams do it. And they're actually letting the participants sell the sport that they've got a vested interest in.
Sell their brands, essentially.
And, that can't be a bad thing. Formula One has been marketed terribly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am no expert on marketing.
No.
I don't pretend to be. My marketing experience was I was marketing manager for an online stockbrokers that went bust.
Well, there you go.
There you go. But even I can see the Bernie model of marketing things was not going to work in the world that we live in now.
Outdated at best.
Yeah. To be honest, outdated when he brought that idea in.
Well, hopefully, if we get Sean back on here at some point, I'd like to ask him.
Sean Kelly, that is not Sean Bratches.
No, or Sean Bean. We wouldn't want Sean Bean on because he would make the end of the episode. But
what's the saying like? I'm from Sheffield, off to seek blades.
How many times did he die in Sharp?
I don't know. I never watched it, but I did once mistake him for a tramp. We were playing a gig over here in a pub, and he was over here filming, and he'd obviously been in this long lamented pub that's not there anymore, the Cul-de-sac. Great vodka menu in there, and I was carrying all my part of the band gear in, and I asked this tramp to move out the way, and he looked up and went, "Aye, lad, right then." Like, Sean Bean. I was like, "Aye." I'll be shifting. I was like, "Yeah, cheers."
Fair enough.
And then our lead singer had a right go at him because.
And then he died.
No, he didn't die. He just got accused of being a D-dar from Sheffield by our lead singer who's from Barnsley.
Oh God.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'd like to ask somebody that knows that's involved in Formula One properly, whether Bernie Ecclestone's model, like we say that Formula One hasn't been marketed towards fans or run for fans, and I want to know whether it's just me or whether there's any founding to me thinking that Formula One for the last few years has been run for corporate sponsorship. It's been run for the back of the paddock, essentially.
Yeah.
For rich people to have nice days out at the races.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Bernie, what was it? It was the making rich men a little bit more rich.
Yeah. Well, I think it was. I can't remember.
Jolly hockey sticks. I think you've referred to.
I can't remember who came up with. Can't remember who came up with the quote about about circuit selection for the calendar. But it was, well, if you're not going to pay what we want, I'll find a dictator who will.
Pretty much, yeah.
But
Bernie
going,
Eccleston putting the dick into it.
Oh, careful,
get
Bernie.
arrested for that. Going back to Sauber, Verline has the pressure on him.
Well,
I
pretty
think,
much.
because there's going to be questions. There's been questions asked about his attitude ever since the not getting a better drive.
The Force India drive
Force
that
India,
Ocon was picked for.
Yeah, you know, his teammate of half a season, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
And all the rumours going round that he's known as Princess Pascal in the paddock. If he doesn't perform as well in this coming test as Giovinazzi did in the first one, are Sauber going to be on the phone to Ferrari going, that young lad you've got, can we just borrow him for a bit longer?
It might not be a bad idea for Sauber to do that, but Verline was, if you remember, the darling of Mercedes. He was the next. He was going to be the test tube grown Lewis Hamilton, but Mercedes version, because obviously Lewis Hamilton was test tube grown with McLaren.
Well, I don't know, because Lewis is now saying I've been part of the Mercedes family all my career.
Well, yeah, Mercedes.
Because it was McLaren Mercedes that brought him through. And
Well, yeah, and he was going to Stuttgart when he was in lower formula. McLaren didn't really have any teams in lower formula, but it was Mercedes teams that he was driving for all the way up to before he got to Formula One.
Yeah, but if Mercedes think that little of Verline now that they're just going to stick him in the cheapest designed car on the grid with last year's Ferrari engine in there, does that say something about what they think of him these days? We've got him, what the hell do we do with him?
No, it's the only place they had for him.
Yeah, it's literally the only seat they had for him. I think they had an inkling, more than an inkling, that Manor weren't going to be around anymore.
Yeah.
So they said, let's stick him in at Sat. There was a rumour that Manor said they didn't want him back, even if they were going to survive. But they, so well, let's put him in at Sauber.
They must have known last year when they stuck. Not Pascal. We're talking about Pascal. Esteban in Force India. They must have known there was a chance of this happening to Manor then.
Yeah,
because even though he's going to have a better year in Force India than he would have had at Manor, but as far as Mercedes are concerned, they would have probably preferred to keep both their drivers in the same team as a comparison.
but it just says to me that Verline could be the phrase they use is on the bubble.
I think
He's in a bit of a no-win. He's put himself in a no-win situation.
Yeah,
because
he's not a shit driver. He put together some decent.
He's put some decent
performances.
He's put some decent qualifying in, and he's put some decent first laps in. But his races have been poor.
I wouldn't say they've been poor. I mean, it's hard to gauge really as well with him only having that one season in Manor.
But against his teammate where
comparable. You could argue that
especially with the extra time he'd had.
Yeah, you could argue that he should have done better against Esteban Ocon, but that's exactly why Force India picked Ocon over Verline.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because realistically, like Ericsson is the weakest driver on the grid. I think we could all maybe Stroll is going to wrestle that honour off him.
yeah,
We're at the beginning of a season, so Ericsson's going to be shit. Ericsson doesn't even become marginally anything like a Formula 1 driver until at least mid-season.
Yeah, it took Sony getting involved to save Ericsson.
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
yeah. Well, they made him mobile.
Yay!
That took a lot of thinking. So we can't really compare the two because Ericsson is he's not a morning person in terms of an F1 season.
Yeah, those flyaway races where you got to get up at like 4 a.m. No good. He's no good at them.
He's got awful teeth as well.
But how's his hair game, Lee?
It's
Quite strong, I think.
I think it's quite strong. It's let down by his face. Because he's quite an ugly guy.
You know why he's got the good hair game going on? because he can't actually go fast enough in any form of transport to
mess
ruffle
it
his
up.
hair.
Yeah, that's why his hair's always so good.
So yeah, we're gonna have trouble sort of comparing what we think are the two worst drivers on the grid, because Ericsson is a traditionally slow starter to the season, and Stroll, to all intents and purposes, is in a much superior car.
Yeah, but if he's crash.
That's the thing. Who's going to finish the most races? Doesn't matter how many laps down. Are you actually just going to get to the end when the guy in front, not Guido van der Garde, gets the checkered flag?
Be interesting to know what laps Stroll crashed on, and how far into a stint he was.
One of them was
What is one of his outlaps, wasn't it?
early in a stint, and he was on cold tyres.
Right.
Was it his second installation lap, wasn't it?
Uh,
Or was it his out lap?
He just left the pit, so I think it was an installation.
Right.
That's the one that Smedley defended him on. He said
Yeah.
it wasn't his fault. He said we all don't know how these cars move under cold conditions, and he just lost control. The car went one way and hit the barriers. It was unfortunate for him.
But I think the big one that wiped out the day and a half or day and a bit was he got a few laps under his belt.
Yeah, see, he's in an unfortunate position where he's default the best rookie this year because he's the only rookie. But we can't compare him to anybody. So it could just be the fact that he's happened to come into Formula One where it's bitch hard all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only driver that we can really have a comparison with to him would be Ocon,
Yeah.
who's got half a season and he's driving a car with the same engine.
Yeah, and he's not been thrown into the wall.
No.
I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what Esteban Ocon can do in that Force India. I mean, the Force India is a team we hadn't really touched on in the
I
test.
think Force India are going to let Ocon down for this year.
Yeah, Force India were pushing forward, and then they released this ugly-looking car with the Stingray parts.
That car, when you look at it, screams lack of budget to me. You know, when you look at the rest of the cars,
Yeah.
I think it's a shame because it's been nice seeing like the rise of Force India, but
Do we think they've peaked?
yeah, I think I do. Well,
yeah.
they said themselves last year, didn't they, that they needed 100 million to take the next step.
Yeah.
They won't have got the 100 million.
No. On top of their budget, they needed that to even start, or as he said, to even start approaching the guys in front of us. We need 100 million.
Yeah.
And the guys in front of them last year were Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari.
Yeah,
Who spend that much on a coffee machine?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I suppose that the good thing for them is McLaren don't seem to be up there. The bad thing for them that Haas seem to have done a good car, considering this is their first proper year building a car.
Yeah. I think we've got Haas and Toro Rosso challenging them for fourth. I would include Williams in there, but let's face it, you need two regular point scoring drivers to
Yes,
be up there, and there's this unknown quantity.
Massa.
Who usually struggles when new regulations come in, but doesn't appear to have done this time, because remember when they banned traction control and he forgot how to take corners?
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, but he has had like a new lease of life almost with in that first test. Anyway, he seemed to enjoy it, and is enjoying it perhaps the key to doing well.
It's got to be an advantage to any of the guys that were around.
When the V10s were around.
Yes, and when the was it 2000 and 2008? These cars are going back to that sort of 2007.
2009 was the first year of the V8s, wasn't it?
I can't remember. No, but I just mean this style of car is
Uh,
more akin to a
2010, 2009, 2010.
So anyone that was around in that time, it's got to be an advantage.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Max does with these cars.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that was the next-
cornering speed is very high, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the cornering speed is where they're getting their extra time from because you're looking at so it's round about 30 to 35 miles an hour faster
Yeah.
through corners. And
Vettel said he couldn't take turn 3 flat in since I think 2009. He said was the last time he could take turn 3 at Barcelona flat, and he's taking it flat in this Ferrari.
And this is something that Max is pretty good at because he can just get that little extra bit of speed through the corners.
Yeah, and he also seems
Whether that's the youthful bravado or not, I don't know, but he's got something.
and he's a very much in the same ilk as Hamilton, I think, of that like throw it into a corner, very much on the back end, sort it out when you get there, and then put your foot down and get out of the corner.
Yeah.
And I think extra downforce is going to suit that style of driver.
Yeah, it's kind of letting the car and gravity do the work rather than
yeah.
controlling it all the way through.
Yeah, it's just that it's exactly what I just said. It's like they're like it's making the car go fast and then adjusting the car as it's there. Sorting out problems and issues as they arise.
I think this extra downforce is going to reward aggressive driving. It's just whether or not they'll be able to follow because of that extra downforce. That's the catch-22 that they find themselves in.
Yeah, the drivers are already saying that overtaking isn't going to be any easier than it was.
I wonder how much of that's gamesmanship.
Yeah, have we seen much sort of catching and passing during testing?
Not really, because I think everybody's been sending the drivers out so that they've got clean air in front of them.
Unusually, the guy that said that passing won't be a problem was Max Verstappen. He said it will be no different to last year, and he sees no reason why there's going to be any problems overtaking people.
Max, it's over to you.
Yeah, he didn't suffer from that too much last year. Danny Rick was very, I would say, there wasn't a lot written about him because he didn't get much wrong.
No.
And he just
Solid performer.
That was just a get in there, get on with it.
I think I'd like to call Danny Rick dark horse.
Yeah, I think so.
Ferrari has sort of shown their hand a little bit. Mercedes
isn't that
has shown theirs.
that's one of his favourite metalcore bands, isn't it, Dark Horse?
Possibly. Do you know what though? He's responsible for my favourite Instagram post this week from a Formula One driver. He's got like he's had a photo shoot for a men's style mag. Did you? He's just like working on my album cover. All I need is a guitar and a voice.
I wish he'd stop doing these cringy like little rap videos he keeps doing.
Who, Dan Ricciardo?
Yeah.
Ah, no, it's funny. It's funny. It's, he's got a personality and he's putting it out there. He's
I need to look at Instagram more.
Yeah, you do.
I do think he might have a handful this year though with young Max, because I think Daniel Ricciardo is very similar to Jenson Button when he was the same when Button was that age. Sort of when Button was at his sort of prime in BAR, probably was when he was. If you'd have handed him a good car when he was in BAR, I think it would have been something quite special.
Yeah, it's weird to think. You still think of Danny Rick being quite young, but he was driving an HRT and was it 2010?
Yeah. Oh, that's why he said he's getting frustrated with not having the success he wants.
Yeah.
But the problem is, well, looking at him, and this type of driver I think he is, he did really well last year on the tyres. Like, he could look after tyres.
Yeah.
And he could run a good fast race pace without destroying the tyres. I think that's why
he does the Jensen.
Yeah, and there's no the words have lost me. The words have gone.
The words have all gone.
It's no accident essentially that he used to start a race, be pretty anonymous for the first half of the race. Then by the time of the pit stops were over, he was on the podium.
Because he'd get those extra 2 or 3 laps in.
Yeah.
And then just put some distance between him and
the amount of times that when that race shook out at the end, he was in the mix, and he'd been quite quiet through the race, but just getting on with it. But if those tyres, like we think they're going to be, are going to cause these drivers no problem, and it's going to be one-stop races, does that sort of take out one of the advantages he had in Formula One?
That is a good question.
Or he would have the advantage late on when some drivers might be struggling with their tyres the last sort of 10 laps. He's got plenty of fresh meat left on his.
Yeah, but I mean, the way these guys are talking now, you know, it's the we're back to the days, especially on the softs and the mediums, where you put a set on in June and you take them off in fucking November.
December, yeah.
So yeah, it's just a thought. I don't know. I mean, I want Danny Rick to do well, but I've got a funny feeling that Max is going to have his number with these new cars, because I think it's going to go towards Max's style of driving.
Well, Max has got his number twice on the front of his car because he's 33.
What's next on that? What we got on the list there, Paul?
Let's just take a minute.
That needs moving on from.
Let's just. I want all the listeners to think this as well. Let's just all take a minute to think to ourselves. Go fuck yourself, Paul. Now we can carry on.
Well, I thought it was good. What else have we got? Oh, God. Well, not McLaren bashing, but Gilles Simon.
Well, yeah, let's not McLaren bash. He's left because it's shit.
Yeah, he hasn't left yet, but he is on gardening leave. Or as you put down here, one for our British listeners, Gilles Simon to become Alan Titchmarsh.
Yeah, he's on gardening leave.
He's gonna write smutty housewife novels.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to jump before he's pushed, I think.
Yeah,
Gilles Simon was at Ferrari through the Alonso years, I think.
Yes.
He was engine man then. I think he's been at Renault before that.
He has.
He's
He's always been around Alonso because he was Renault in the Alonso years.
Was he Renault at Alonso years? So if he's gone, does that mean Alonso bye-bye? Ooh, says Lee, looking very pensive.
You've either come up with a theory or you're doing some shit up backing vocals.
just trying to harmonise. So
With what?
With use. It's experimental. Don't get me wrong.
Not even started the Who's a Total Shunt song this week.
So when did he go to Ferrari? Did he follow Alonso from Renault to Ferrari?
You're asking me for stuff here.
I know he went. I know Gilles Simon went to Honda in 2013 before they'd announced, just as they announced that they were going to be back in Formula One.
Yeah.
So that was 2013, wasn't it? They said we're going to be in Formula One in 2015. And
See, I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that we see Alonso in a Renault next year.
We'll see.
It's been a cozy blanket for him, Renault.
Well, it sort of has, hasn't it? So he likes that place.
Sorry, I'm desperately trying to look up Gilles Simon's career, and I just keep getting a tennis player
Called Gilles Simon.
Yes.
Oh no.
If the world was any right, you should be saying, "Why are you looking for a man called Jill?"
Well, it's Gilles, as in Gilles Villeneuve.
Oh, is it?
Giles.
Giles. Yeah.
Oh, Gillies.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Joined Ferrari in '93 at the same time as Jean Todt. Joined the FIA working group in 2009. Left the FIA.
Joined Honda.
To join Pure, a new F1 engine supplier which aimed to enter the sport in 2014. That didn't happen. Then went to Honda in 2013. Renault, he was actually there before '93, so he didn't go to Renault with Alonso.
So he wasn't an Alonso Renault man. He was a Nigel Mansell Renault man when Williams had the Renault in the back of there.
He's basically been alongside Jean Todt since 1984, so we're going to see him on the technical group for the FIA.
Possibly, who knows? But yeah, I mean he's bailing out, isn't he, of the Honda project, and who blames him? And we know why. We've gone over it about 30 times already. This podcast.
It's a shame that would have been a good story.
Well, yeah, it's
there we are messing up a perfectly good theory with facts.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Simon follows Alonso. Nah, he doesn't. No.
He's just sometimes.
Yay, coincidence.
What have we got next? Oops, there's another Maldonado.
Yeah, well,
But it's his cousin.
yes, Manuel Maldonado.
We'll go again. Manuel Maldonado.
Manuel Maldonado. There you go. It does work.
Manueldo.
Manuel Maldonado. Manueldo?
Manueldo.
British Formula 3.
British Formula 3.
Have
Former
signed
stomping ground of Jenson Button, Ayrton Senna,
Martin
Martin Brundle,
Yeah.
James Hunt,
Nigel Mansell.
yeah, and Pastor Maldonado.
Actual Pastor Maldonado's cousin,
Yes.
Venezuelan Manuel Maldonado. Jeez, I did it again.
Does he look like a Bond villain as well?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. He looks a little bit like Pastor. You can tell they're related. He is a British Formula 3 driver for this year. And does he bring that Venezuelan money with him? If he does, good Lord, is he going to go all the way to the top? We may have to bring back the something to do with Maldonado related in Formula 1.
And he can crash more because if he's got all the Venezuelan money, F3 parts are a lot cheaper, so they can afford to buy a lot more of them with all the money that he's bringing in.
So we need a game for Lance Stroll. We might need a game for Manuel Maldonado.
I wonder if Pastor has tarnished his name before he gets into the sport. I wonder if they'll take another Maldonado.
Is Manuel unwell? I can't think of a... Not off the top of
You
my
get a
head.
Faulty Towers reference in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Possibly.
But yes, there is another Maldonado racing.
There is.
Yeah, God
There
help
is
us
a little
all.
bit of a light story. Next one. Do you want Ross Brawn's thing next?
Ross Brawn's thing is next. Ross Brawn.
He wants a non-championship event in order to test things.
That's good because I've not got my glasses with me, and all I can see is Ross Brawn plus chip event.
Yes,
Test
plus
like
chip event.
cup holders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he wants to hold a non-championship Formula 1 race so that he can tinker with the way that the weekend works. So this might be sprint race and
Formula E.
yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
play that
is.
with the grids, play that with
I want to know
qualifying.
who pays for it.
It'd probably be held at different circuits, I would imagine. You know, like Donington.
No, I mean
or
teams. Because the teams are going to turn around and say, "Look, we've got our fucking budget set for the year."
Well,
Yeah, if he's going to
be treated like an in-season test.
Yeah, if he's gonna have that, then it's got to be every team gets a new engine
Yeah.
on their allowance.
Well, it's a non-championship event, so championship rules don't apply.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, it costs money to run a Formula 1 team.
Yeah, the teams will have to be paid extra
Yeah.
to actually be there.
Yeah. Well, they'll essentially want their costs paid.
Yeah,
You know, it's everything. Shipping, haulage, everything to get those cars running and on the circuit, they'll want paid.
Boulier's pie budget.
Jesus, it's never going to happen.
Have to go somewhere where they don't make delicacies.
Yeah, Formula Greg's.
Where has bland food? To Poland!
Apparently Polish food's quite nice. That Polish takeaway in town that I've not been to yet, but it's getting rave reviews.
Well, yeah, if you like spuds and rodents.
No, that's traditional Manx cuisine.
I'll fucking have you think that we like a fish.
Chips, cheese and gravy. I'm just leaving that there.
Chips, cheese and gravy is a remarkable dish.
Yes, it is.
You've got to eat it before the plate melts.
Well, what sort of plates have you got?
Ones that have had chips, cheese and gravy spot welded to them.
Yeah, they're all chips, cheese, and gravy. Sound. It's all right.
It's just cheese and gravy. It's not like some sort of. There's no chemical change in there. It's not like dry Lucozade.
Is that a thing? Actually, yeah, it is a thing. Lucozade tablets.
Yeah, no. Like Lucozade, if you spill Lucozade and it goes dry, it is the stickiest, hardest to clean off substance known to man.
Apart from dried Weetabix.
Or microwaved porridge.
Yes, also very difficult.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to microwave porridge. Although my friend's son once thought he was being helpful by microwaving porridge for his dad for breakfast. He just forgot to add any liquid.
And porridge was the cat.
Yeah, we don't talk about what Twig's son did to the microwave. Nearly took the house down. It was one of us living next door to your mum's as well. So
Oh, dear.
Jesus.
yeah.
Poor
So, yeah.
porridge, never forget.
So yeah, a non-championship race, something that we've not seen since the 80s.
No, I think it's a great idea because you can tinker then with qualifying formats, tinker around with race setups. You know, would a sprint and feature race work? Or something to that effect. The teams could treat it like an in-season test. We know that bit we probably shouldn't have bolted to our car. Well, let's bolt it on and see just see what happens.
Wonder if anyone would use it as a way to test young drivers.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because it's a non-championship race, so non-championship rules would apply. I'm not saying like free for all, but you might see people be like, Renault might go, wonder if we can turn our engine up just that little bit more for a full race and just see how it fares.
Just in case it bursts into flames, we'll put Charles Leclerc in there.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Take the risks because you're not. All you're going to lose is an engine that you wouldn't have had in the first place.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not gonna lose any points.
I think it would be really interesting to see. It wouldn't be like a super intense, like who's the greatest gladiator of them all sort of race. It would be
Jet.
it would be. All I'm thinking now is Alan Partridge.
Please agreeing with me.
All I'm thinking now is Alan Partridge in a picture of Jet he had up in the motel.
Scorpio's Manx.
Yes,
Yeah.
apparently so.
Hunter went to my school.
Well, there you go.
He's from York.
Oh, right. Nice. He had a good hair game.
He did.
A little too curly for my liking.
Yeah, but it was on gladiator level.
On gladiator level.
Male gladiator level.
Better than Wolf, a.k.a. Michael Bolton.
Yes, better than Wolf. Better than Shadow.
I watched that movie,
Shadow
by the way.
was ace. Who remembers Shadow?
Yeah, Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
Just fucking coked off his tits all the time.
Roid Rage.
I've got a roid rage, coke rage. Oh, just fucking anabolic rage.
Remember the duel with the pugil sticks?
Yeah, he fucking murdered people.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much.
the most damage that's been done with an oversized cotton bud in the history of history. Itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you watched that movie that I lent you?
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun. It was good. Anyway, back
I want the
back to
listeners
the.
to tell us who the favourite gladiator was.
Yeah, do
Yeah,
that.
British or American.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
forget the American gladiators.
Yeah, that was like the British one, but not as good.
And it was also on at 3 in the morning.
You could have gladiators on during a Formula One race.
You know, the watching gladiators once cost us 50 quid in 1992.
How?
Because we were in a recording studio at the Graveyard Shift and we were paying 25 quid an hour and they had 2 episodes on back to
Your
back.
use of the word "we" there was very confusing.
The band. My band. And we stopped recording for 2 hours between 2 and 4 to sit down and watch American Gladiators.
Oh, that cost you 50 quid.
Yeah, because they were
Oops.
still charging us for studio time.
Was this like the first series of gladiators before fucking video recorders?
No, this was American Gladiators when you didn't know what night it was going to be on. This was before the British one started.
Oh, right. Hipster gladiators.
Wasn't hipster. It was Gladiators for insomniacs.
Yeah, right.
Right, I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm going rogue. I'm going back to something that wasn't on last week's running order and should have been.
on.
Underpants.
Formula Lee.
What?
It was meant.
Lee season testing.
Didn't fucking do it, did we?
No, we're going to do it this week.
Are we?
Well, you're in charge.
Yeah, well, I suppose so, we can do. We know
Well.
the circuit.
Circuit is Spain.
Circuit is Spain.
Hang on, whoa! This is Lee season testing. This is big.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't see the point in Lee season testing.
You promised
You
us.
promised Lee season
No,
testing at the
no.
end of last season.
Nobody's asked for it.
We have.
So I think personally,
We've got a couple of tweets as well.
but I think personally, if I was everybody else, I would concentrate on getting some Australian laps in.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Just as a hint for the Australian race, should people be getting some dry or some wet laps in?
Who fucking knows?
Oh, right, it's like that then.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So you heard it here first, unless you've seen it on the Facebook page, which I'm sure you're going to post.
Yes, of course
Yeah.
I will.
So yeah, get your league season testing in for Australia and Derek Schleicher, if you're out there, send us your setups. Not heard from you for a while.
I'm looking forward to the beginning of this because we missed out some of my favourite tracks last year because we started halfway through the season.
So yeah, we can go all the way through to where we started last season and then switch to Project Cars 2.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, there's a damn good chance. Chris, get your
Hello.
guitar.
Oh, is it that time?
It's that time.
I have not rehearsed this.
Just want to thank. I mean, this is actually way too many people to mention because we put an appeal out last week saying, send us your requests for who you want for the Who's a Total Shunt thing.
Also, did anybody get last week's?
Yes, yeah, we had a couple. We had
One
a couple
person, I think, got it before the end.
What name? We need the name.
And if I had a working laptop, we'd have that bloody sight easier. You've got access to the Facebook page as well. Hang on, let's have a look. You can hear Chris warming up in the background.
Oh no, the game hasn't saved.
Have you lost it?
Yeah, it didn't save to the doof.
Well, I'm not doing the song if there's no Total Shunt.
It's alright, I'm gonna have to do it on the fly, aren't I?
Well, yeah, you are. Get that Wikipedia page up, punk.
Jeez.
And
This is professional.
Oh, this is utterly professional. And
I've got Paul on my right here, messing around with his phone, trying to find out who it was that got last week's Total Shunt before the end.
Right, JC Strain, listening to the podcast now, on question 6 of the quiz, and I'm almost certain it's Super Mario Brothers.
Good fucking man.
There you go.
So, yes.
Now I have a cold, and lots of requests came in.
Yeah, too many people to thank. We had I think there was about 25 to 30 in the end, if we include Twitter, Facebook,
Yeah.
Twitter.
I mean, there was some
email
I found
as
it!
well.
Total Shunt is back on, but I've decided to go. I don't even remember who suggested this. Because I've got a bit of a cold, I decided to go with Bob Dylan.
Go on then.
Who's a total shunt? I said, who's a total shunt? Who's a total shunt? I don't know, so got it, piece of right. Who's a total shunt?
Right, gentlemen. Are you
Go on.
ready?
Yes. Before you do, let me just. Who did suggest Bob Dylan?
We had one.
Joel Jeff Pitts.
Oh,
Thanks, Joel.
quick thing as well. I had somebody today sending me an idea of using like a driver for the game. Unfortunately, you tweeted it to me.
Oh.
So it's in a public forum. So if anyone wants to suggest a racing driver, send me a PM on
Keep
Twitter.
it quiet because we don't want to
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Don't use Facebook because
we've all got access to that.
We all look at Facebook. So just send at a Total Shunt, that one, send it to me, and then you will make my life easier. You can if it's someone you know and you know a lot about, send me
Write
some
the
of the
questions.
clues. Yeah, write
Yeah.
some of the questions.
Is that you ducking out of doing the actual work for your quiz?
No, I'm fucking connected with my people.
Right, let's get on with it. We've had the theme tune, which was questionable.
Yeah, this is why you'll never be a national treasure like me.
What needs burying?
No, likes Nicolas Cage too much. I was born in 1942.
1942.
So that makes them.
If still alive,
That makes them 75 this year. Same age as me mum.
same age as your mum. There
Yes.
you go. 75 this year.
Yes.
I was not a world champion.
So not world champion in any discipline of any sport.
So at the moment, the only thing I've got is me mum.
So
To my knowledge, my mum was born in 1942. Sorry, mum, and has never been a world champion.
I have driven in the WRC.
World Rally Championship. 1942. 75 years old.
And a rally driver.
And was never a world champion.
No.
I don't know if Harry Vatnam was ever world champion. I know Harry Vatnam was...
Is Harry Vatnam that old?
I don't know if he's that old. Stig Blomqvist might be that old. Or is he even older?
Fairly sure Stig Blomqvist was World Rally Champion at some point.
Mm.
Is it this one we have to throw an answer out at?
Yes.
Okay. Bloody hell.
Never world rally champion.
Never a
world champion.
Never a
So
world
never
champion.
a world champion at anything.
I'll remind you of the rules of the game. I can give you the clues, but I can't clarify them.
That's fine.
Yep. I'm just trying to get.
Should we just get this out of the way now? Are you Jimmy McRae?
I am not Jimmy McRae.
Fine.
I have driven for 4 teams.
4 teams. Well, Harry Vatnen and Stig Blomqvist. Stig Blomqvist definitely drove for Skoda at one point. I remember that in the 90s when everyone was like, what's Stig Blomqvist still doing driving? Vatnen was generally a Ford man, although I think he did drive for Subaru.
Sorry, I will. So not to throw a curveball at you.
Go ahead.
I will clarify this. Yeah, I have driven for permanently for 4 teams, as in I have
Had contracts with,
had
not just
contracts
filled in.
with, yeah,
Not just filled in.
an odd
Yeah,
race or an odd race.
Right.
I'm still thinking Blomqvist, Vatnen. Who think of any other rally drivers who drove in it? Because bear in mind, WRC is not an old discipline. It's still fairly new in form of, in terms of motorsport. Juha Kankkunen, but he's not
He's
that old.
nowhere near 75.
He's not 75, is he? I wouldn't have thought.
No, I think we might be looking.
Hang on a second. Juha Kankkunen 75. He would have been 55 in 97 in that case.
That'd be a great name to chant, wouldn't it?
The what? Sorry.
It'd be a great name to chant.
Juha Kankkunen.
Juha Kankkunen.
It would be. His co-driver was called Juha Repo.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like a really bad insult. No, you are Repo.
No, it sounds like a rap band. It's you are Kankkunen and you are reppin'.
Right. No, I don't think it can be Juha Kankkunen. I don't think he's quite that old.
No. I'd have put him down at no more than 60.
Yeah.
You ready for another clue?
Yes, please.
I drove in the 24 Hours of Le Mans once with very little success.
Now then. The thing is, well, everyone takes every professional world level racing driver takes part in it just about at least once.
Yeah. That
At some point in their career.
doesn't really help. To
Doesn't.
Be honest. I don't know if I'm thinking Vatn and Blomqvist, because the Stig, Top Gear's The Stig, was named after Stig Blomqvist.
No, he wasn't.
Was he not?
No,
I always believed he was.
Nope, it was the term for a new boy at the very posh school, Repton,
Oh,
that
right,
Jeremy
okay.
Clarkson and the producer Andy Willman went to.
Oh, fair enough.
Was Stig.
I always believed it to be named after Stig Blomqvist.
Nope, all new boys at Repton School were called Stigs.
Fair enough.
Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden went to that school as well.
Was he a Stig?
He must have been a Stig at some point. Because Jeremy Clarkson is quite posh in real life.
He is, yes. Next clue, I think, Lee. Please.
I retired in the same year that the sexy, clever, modest one from 3 Legs, 4 Wheels was born.
So retired in 1982 then. Because I'm sure that's himself he's talking about, unless it was someone that retired in 1970.
Retired in 82, but drove in the World Rally Championship. World Rally Championship was not very old in 82.
No. This is another one.
We got to give a clue. We got a guess on this one now, haven't we? Clue 6. Was that the next one?
I think it's the next one. You've got one more.
Got one more before we go. I'm thinking maybe Tony Pond.
thought he was dead.
Yeah, but we
We
haven't
don't
said
know
he's
if he's dead or
alive.
not. Yeah, that is true, actually.
So
I
he's
remember
born in-
Tony Pond used to advertise Old Spice.
And he also drove that Rover around the Isle of Man TT course, didn't he?
Yeah,
years
and I'm just
ago?
trying to think the teams that he drove for.
He drove
in
for Ford.
WRC. He drove for Ford. He drove for Leyland.
Leyland?
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen him in a Mini. In a rally.
Fair enough.
And I think he drove for Talbot at one point. Before they became Peugeot.
Before they
Yeah.
started fitting blinds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were
Sorry,
Chrysler, then they were
Manx
Talbot
joke.
for a bit, and then they just renamed them all Peugeots.
Yeah.
I think we'll need another clue.
Yeah.
I've been a senator.
Right, okay. I take it you mean the political one, not the Vauxhall / Opel.
Sorry, I meant Minotaur.
I was a senator. Optimus Prime. Right, now then. Governments that have senators. America, obviously.
Yeah.
Australia, I think, have a senate.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Jersey. And I'm kind of run out on my political knowledge there.
We also think we're talking about a rally driver, though we don't actually know.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura was a governor, not a senator, so that rules him out. Because I know if there was ever somebody likely to throw in a wrestler into a Who Am I quiz, well, it ain't you and me, Chris.
Well, I don't know if Jesse Ventura may have ever taken part in. He's about the right age.
He was also a member of the Bandidos motorcycle club. Was it the Bandidos or was it the Mongols?
Was he a world champion in wrestling now?
Oh, yeah, that kind of rules that
I
out, doesn't
see.
it?
I think he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to guess, and then we got no guesses left until the end of the quiz. Then.
Yeah. God, I really haven't got anything on this. He wouldn't throw a second fictional one in.
Oh, he
Two
might
weeks
do.
on the trot.
May well do. You never know. It is Lee.
You just sat there looking very smug and happy with yourself, aren't you?
I'm generally happy and smug with myself.
Or somebody that didn't do motor racing as their main sport. Sonny from Off of Sonny and Cher. He was a senator.
Was he?
Yeah.
And was he a rally driver?
That I couldn't tell you.
No, I don't think
He
he
died
was.
in a skiing accident. I
Yeah.
know that much.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've got. Go with that, Sonny Bonner.
If you want, I've got some straws over here. You can clutch it. No, I'm not.
Next clue, please, Lee.
I'm primarily known for my Formula One career.
Right, who retired in '82 then?
How old was Gilles Villeneuve when he died?
Well, he didn't retire though, did he?
No.
And
But this is Lee's game we're playing.
yeah.
That was before 82, wasn't it? Or was it 82?
Could have been '82, but my mind's gone blank at the minute. Don't think he ever did anything WRC there.
He wasn't a politician, was he? A Canadian.
Don't think he was vaguely political. Probably a better singer than his son. Not hard. Sorry, I said it, baby.
Oh no.
Who would have retired round about '82? That is the question. When did James Hunt retire? Because it was
70.
Yeah, it was earlier than that, wasn't it?
980. And he was world champion.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
The only people I can think about who were never world champions are all world champions.
Carlos Pache.
He died in 78, I think.
Yeah, I've got now.
I've got nothing either at the moment. So we've got a rally driver who was also in Formula One.
I drove for 4 Formula One teams.
So the 4 teams that you drove for were Formula One. So it was occasional rally driving then.
Someone like Clay Regazzoni.
Retirement time sounds about right. Yeah. How many more clues have we got? 1. I think we're going to have to go for the last clue, aren't we?
Yeah, of course we're going to have to.
It's not really going to help you.
Oh, great.
I have 12 wins and 45 podiums in Formula One. I might give you a Spaffer clue.
I think we'll need it.
I think we'll need it too because they've been extremely vague.
I'm Argentinian.
Clay Regazzoni.
Wasn't he Brazilian?
No, he was Argentinian. So that's who I'm willing to throw that final guess in.
Go on then. I will go with yours.
I'm not.
Well, you're not.
I'm Carlos Reutemann.
Carlos Reutemann.
Nearly said that.
Dan, I bet Dan knows right now.
Yeah.
Carlos Reutemann's a good one.
Not right now. Right now in the future.
When he's listening to this.
When he's listening to this.
Duck, Dan.
That was a difficult one. Well done, Lee.
That was a particularly tricky one this week. Shall we have a look at the mailbag?
We can have a look at the mailbag.
I thought one of you might know that he went into politics after Formula One.
No, I didn't. I had no idea.
And not only was he a senator, he actually knocked back the opportunity to run for president.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yes, Brazil. He probably wasn't corrupt enough.
Argentinian,
sorry. Definitely not corrupt enough. Why do I keep saying Brazilian? Don't go there.
I'm just going to check to see if Clay Regazzoni was Argentinian. I thought he was. But I'll just double check that myself. But yeah, let's move on to the mailbag.
Right. Esteban Forsyth.
Hello, Ed.
Something on Facebook. Do McLaren have the pace to even make it to Australia in time?
Clay Regazzoni was Swiss.
That answers that.
There's definitely still a listener screaming at their MP3 player, isn't there?
Yes.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You guys are a podcast and you know nothing! You know nothing!
We know!
There's clearly holes in your argument, Flood. Swiss holes.
Like cheese! Oh well, move on.
Back to the mailbag. Yeah, do McLaren have the pace to even make it to Australia in time? If they can get a lift off a faster team.
He does realise they don't drive there.
You'd hope so.
It's not like rally where they've got to drive to the stages.
This is from somebody. This is from somebody who was perennially 11th in Formula Lee.
What?
This is from somebody who was perennially 11th in Formula Lee.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, no. Yes. Tuesday.
It's Monday.
For 55 minutes.
Yeah, it's nearly Tuesday. But Tuesday by the time this is mixed. I was in the future. I'm breaking time again.
Oh, wish people would stop doing that.
I know what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
They'll be in Australia, but whether they're on the pace.
Whether they actually get on the grid. I mean, the 107% rule is still there. And
they'll be within 107%.
If they can actually get through Q1 without major dramas, I've just got this feeling that come Australia, McLaren are going to have to actually apply to the stewards with their free practice times to get on the grid.
No, they will be quicker than Sauber. That car will be quicker
Oh,
than Sauber.
it'll be quick enough to get on the grid. It's whether it's actually reliable enough that they can get out in Q1.
I don't think it's going to be any worse than 2015, and they started the race in Australia knowing they wouldn't finish it.
Well, Jensen started the race in Australia in 2015.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They went to the grid knowing they wouldn't make the end of the race.
Yeah.
So no, there won't be any issues there. It's just how quick they are when they're on the track, and that's the worrying thing. I know we're going to go back into McLaren here, but it is a question. The worrying thing for them is it would be okay if they were breaking down and blisteringly fast. The problem is when the car's actually moving, it's brick slow.
Yeah.
There is no way around it at the minute. I think it's not worked with Honda, and this is why I think we'll be seeing a different engine in the McLaren next year.
Who knows? I don't know what they put in it. I mean, you've got to think that McLaren have done an awful good job when you consider what Renault and what happened with Red Bull and Renault. And Red Bull had nowhere near the issues with Renault that McLaren happened with Honda. So they've done a very good PR stint, and you've got to wonder whether a majority of that might have been Ron Dennis, so keeping the team in line. And now there's new people there. Maybe there's more skulls getting cracked together. And if so, does that mean there's going to be more pressure put on Honda? Does that mean there's going to be public pressure put on Honda?
Or is Zach Brown in that period where he's just where he steps back, sees what happens, and then steps in and goes, right, you, out.
I don't think they've got the time to stand back.
No. But Zach Brown has always said that he didn't have enough time to act before 2017.
Yeah.
He's always said that.
Yeah.
I think we'll see massive sweeping changes in McLaren for 2018.
Yeah.
But like you say, Zach Brown needs this year just to find out the bits, and we're not just talking Honda here, but the bits of the team that don't work.
Yeah, but rarely when somebody's brought in to manage a desperate team, does somebody pull it out. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's because usually when somebody's brought in to manage a desperate team, it's been Dave Richards, and he's shit.
Well, yes, but it's Ferrari syndrome almost. It's that team's been in dire straits, and people have come in, but they've come into a desperate team, so that means they haven't even had a grace period to get in. If they've got to come in and start acting immediately, and when you have to come in and start acting immediately, people don't make the best of choices.
You're going to make a wrong decision if it's a snap decision more often than not.
Yeah.
And also that's when you start losing respect, and the people doing the work on the ground start thinking this new guy's an idiot, he's making snap decisions. So I don't blame McLaren for wanting to take their time, but
But even down for there's nothing to say. All these changes at McLaren and de-running McLaren. I mean, let's not forget, under Ron Dennis, McLaren have had a lot of success. So, is completely de-running the team good?
it's what they've decided.
They have
to
it's
go with
what
it.
they've decided to do. It's not that it's a good or a bad thing. It now appears to be
The thing. Yeah.
There are certainly aspects of the team that Ron's influence was maybe a little bit too strong on.
Yeah.
Because...
But it was only too strong when they were losing. When they were winning championships and they had a car which was much faster than everybody else with Hakkinen and Coulthard, Ron's way of running things was the way to run a Formula One team.
Yeah.
So, and it's I also think even the colour scheme is very un-McLaren.
It is, but I mean the stubbornness of Ron Dennis won them championships. I said this last week.
Yeah.
But it's his stubbornness as well that's now leaving them behind.
Yeah, but maybe
we must work with Honda. We must do this. We must do that. And the team hasn't made any progress.
But the only thing that could be worse than what was going on with Ron is if de-running the team and essentially de-McLarening the colour scheme of the car is like a petulant move. I'm going to do this because you're gone now. And if that's the case,
Pulling down the statues.
yeah, if it's there of like 50% shake up, 50% spite.
Do you think Ron Dennis did have his own statue in the McLaren?
Oh,
Dennis
guaranteed.
Not
Guaranteed.
in McLaren, not in the McLaren place. I think
In his
he-
house.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ronville.
Like holding a globe above his head,
Yeah,
or a sun, probably the sun.
yeah.
Kim Jong Wrong.
Yeah.
Kim Wrong ill.
Let's see what else. What else have we got?
Was it Kim Jong Un's cousin that was killed?
Brother.
Brother. Was he Kim Jong Il?
How long have you been sat on that one?
I thought of it this afternoon. I was quite proud of myself.
Let's have a look. Jeff on Twitter. What team do you think will be the biggest surprise this year, either good or bad? I think Toro Rosso will be the biggest surprise for me.
Yeah, the most disappointing team will be Force India.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah, I think it'll be a straight swap between the two.
Haas could be a surprise, just because.
I'm going to do this without a pun. Dark Horse.
Dark Haas.
There you go.
I
knew if I didn't do it, one of you would do.
Yeah, that sounded like something you really shouldn't be mentioning on a podcast.
Dan wouldn't like it.
Well, you might think that he would, but no, you're right. Dan wouldn't like it.
They do that in the desert, though, don't they? The Dark Horse Rally.
Paris Dakars.
Which is now in South America because they don't want to get shot.
Yeah.
Seems fine. I can't complain about that adjustment.
Yeah, they tried doing sort of Paris to Dakar, and then it sort of turned into the pod race from Phantom Menace with people taking random pot shots at the cars.
Yeah, saying that, I suppose, depending on where they are going through Africa, it's going to be like fucking Mad Max. Where go forward?
We done that, but yeah,
Forward onto questions.
yeah.
More mailbag.
Right. Jana asks, what do you think Pascal's chances of being in that Sauber in Australia? Is his ride hanging on how he performs in testing?
Hello, Jana.
I think he will be in the Sauber in Australia. Whether we see him still in the Sauber at the end of the season is a matter that's open to debate.
Yeah, it's Giovinazzi, as we've already explained, was extremely impressive in that first test.
Is Giovinazzi a Mercedes driver?
No, he's Ferrari.
Ferrari driver.
Right, he's not going anywhere then, because the Mercedes will have paid them to have him in the car.
Possibly, but you got to remember that Ferrari supplies Sauber the engines.
Yeah,
and
but
Sauber
if they've made a deal, and if Mercedes have given X amount of Wonga, then he's in. It's Palmer. You know, Palmer had any other driver, if they hadn't have had whatever contract that his dad sorted out for him, would have lost their drive last year, because halfway through the season it was looking dire, and then he started to click in.
It was just that $10 million in cast iron agreement with the Lotus organisation
that gave him the chance to show that he might be better than what we thought he was.
Pascal Wehrlein is driving in the second test, so we know that his back neck residual problem is probably gone, or is now safe enough for him to get in the car. Why it wasn't last week, I'm not quite sure.
It's the weight from that massive chip he's got on his shoulder.
Absolutely. But Princess Pascal, he's got to have to tone that down this season if he wants to make it to the end, in my opinion.
Yeah. Another one from Zane, who started listening to us recently and now started tweeting a lot.
Hello, Zane.
Hi, Zane.
I think we've already kind of answered this, because which team has impressed you the most in testing? Just to narrow it down,
McLaren.
They have impressed. Williams have made the most impression on the barriers, usually car-shaped dint.
Thank you, Lance Stroll.
Yep.
No, to be fair, I think on me, looking at the testing times, they have left the biggest impression on me. McLaren. Not a good impression. Not a good one at all.
Is the impression palm-shaped on your face, where you've been pressing that hard?
It's like waking up with Freddie stroking your hair while Chucky wanks you off. That type of impression.
Okay.
Painting pictures with words.
I am Chucky, wanna play.
Not really.
No. I think Renault have impressed in testing.
Renault have been pretty impressive in testing. Ferrari have been very impressive in testing. But again, it's something we've...
Your cock would look massive in Chucky's
Oh,
pants.
No.
Enough, Lee.
They said that about half of Jeremy Beadle as well. But on the other hand,
Oh, God. I might just walk out of here in a minute.
yeah, please don't. I need a lift home.
Take my strong hand.
No, just stop. Draw line.
Next
Done.
question.
Next question. Craig Cooper was asking on Twitter where can I listen to the podcast live. Unfortunately, we can't stream it live at the moment.
No, but although we would
We are
love to do a
hoping
live
to
one.
do a live one soon. Just trying to work out the logistics of that, and it'll have to be on a night when your missus isn't watching something on Netflix, so we can use all your bandwidth.
It might not even be in this country.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I've got enough bandwidth for us to do a live feed as well as my missus watching
So-
Netflix.
Give her a DVD. Get her using like 20th century technology.
Yeah.
We're hoping that we're going to be able to do a live one soon. Maybe a video stream. We'll have to see.
A YouTube live probably. That would be the way.
That'll be the way to do it. So yeah, keep a lookout because it might happen.
In a world of on-demand entertainment, that man wants us to tell him when he can listen to it.
Yes.
Like, I respect that.
How do I do this live now? I want it now.
Looking.
What
for
else is
something
in the
else.
mailbag?
Oh yeah, there was the. Let's have a look. Let me just get into the right side. I'm having to do this all off my phone because of this bloody laptop. There was a question that Dwayne sent in earlier while we were recording.
Yes.
Do you guys think that Nico retired knowing things about the new Mercedes car, and he felt and/or knew it would show that he didn't deserve that title?
I think he retired because he didn't want to be beaten by Lewis Hamilton.
He didn't want to lose the title, I think.
Yeah.
Not necessarily even to Lewis Hamilton, just didn't want to lose that title.
No, but I think he knows. Like, let's face it, he had fucking nowhere near the mechanical problems Lewis had.
Yeah.
And Lewis took him all the way to the wire in the championship.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So, right, like it or not, and nobody can argue with this. This is a solid fact. Take out Lewis's mechanical failures, especially Malaysia. Lewis wins the championship.
yeah.
Yeah. If Nico had stayed on, he would have probably known that can't happen again.
Yeah.
To a teammate. Or to another driver that I'm fighting for the title. He's got to retire as world champion.
Yeah.
And he will forever be a world champion.
World champion.
Not the guy that won it one year and then didn't do it again.
Everything with Lewis as a teammate for him, everything needed to align. And that year it did. And
But it was a classy manoeuvre from Nico to step back a week after he won that title and say, look, I'm out of the sport. See you later.
I don't know if classy is the right word. I don't think it's bad by any stretch of imagination, but I don't think classy is the word for it. Classy would be to defend your title.
But with the question being, do you think he retired knowing he couldn't?
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
But if he retired knowing he couldn't defend the championship, then surely retiring is not the classy move. If he genuinely thought, I don't want to race next year because I will be beaten, then retiring was a cowardly
look
move.
at it. Look at all the reasons he put forward for it. Look, I basically sacrificed my relationship with my wife with a really young child to win a world championship, and I'm not doing that again.
No.
So,
I think I totally agree with you, but I'm just being a bit picky, to be honest, about the word classy. That's all.
fair enough.
I don't know, but maybe.
It's one of those, we'll never know the answer because he will never say.
I don't.
Everything else is just wild speculation, but hey, we're good at that.
We are.
I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility for him to end up back in Formula One.
He's been in Barcelona at the tests, hanging around the garage. He's actually had the trophy surgically removed from his hands.
Yeah,
He was in the garage without it.
Yeah,
Either
but
that or
remember
it's just
he's
been painted with some sort of like active camo paint.
He's a Mercedes ambassador, so he still has to do things for Mercedes. I think he Instagrammed a photo earlier this week of him and his wife on holiday in Europe somewhere. But yeah, as you say, he wasn't that far away from the tests. So
Bottas actually said that he'd offered to help, in adjustment with the team, because Bottas has come out and said that moving to Mercedes has been a much bigger task than he thought it was going to be.
And he must have thought it was pretty immense to begin with.
So it wouldn't if Bottas happened to be one of the drivers that gets on well with Nico, it wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if Bottas actually said, like, "Will you come and I've got questions."
He'll get on well with a third of Nico. The finished parts will be able to.
Yeah. But the strange
Are we
thing
done
is,
with this joke now?
Yeah. The strange thing as well is that Lewis Hamilton's come out this week and said that Valtteri Bottas is my best teammate ever. Really? Do you know? I think this is
that's
weird.
The kind of PR statement that.
No, it's mind games. I think from Lewis Hamilton. I think he's just like, Valtteri Bottas is my best friend, and he better not do anything to ruin that.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just trying to treat it like really nonchalantly. Like, I'm really happy with him as my team. Like, really happy with him because I'm clearly going to beat him.
I think that's what. Yeah.
Had an email from Andrew Pryor. This one's directed at you, Chris.
Oh, go on.
Right. Thanks to Chris and his Kermit the Frog impression, everyone on the train now thinks I'm mental. I was laughing for about 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry about tonight's impression. I do have a bit of a cold. I'm not making excuses, but it's just, it was...
I'm not making excuses, but this sounds like an excuse.
Yeah. For example, I think it was...
This is his best answer ever.
I think Lee Webster it was who suggested on Twitter that I do Justin Hawkins, him off the dark. I can barely talk, let alone screech like that.
You're not going to be able to get that high.
No way. That's why Bob Dylan was an easy choice.
I think that's about it. Just usual shout out to Mike McPherson because he always tweets in and asks for one. He says, any predictions for Australia? Yeah, we haven't got a bloody clue.
A McLaren pole.
Hello, Mike McPherson.
I'd go on for a bet on it.
My prediction for Australia is that it will still be dark when I wake up to watch the race.
My prediction for Australia is that the new coffee machine I bought for Christmas will be getting a hell of a workout over that weekend.
Yes, that sounds about right.
And the new Formula One mugs that my missus got me for Christmas will be getting used quite a bit.
And we will be setting up a live blog.
We will be live blogging this season, as always.
We want to say hello to those newer listeners who joined us in the last few weeks as well, because if you don't know when the actual season is in full swing, we live blog from our website 3legs4wheels.com. The races, you can join us on there. We sort of engage in conversation with people as well. Sort of whilst we're blogging the races of opinion, sort of what's happening, what's going on. Incredibly helpful for those of you who don't get great Formula One coverage.
America. Yeah, we have had people say that at least we don't have commercial breaks during the live blog, so they get to find out what's going on for the 50% of the race that they're missing.
Yeah, another 200,000 listeners, and we will.
Shush. That's about it for the slightly truncated mailbag this week, because my laptop has my laptop's at home, my tablet's died on me. Love technology. If there was only somebody that worked in IT in this room, bugger.
That would be you, Paul.
Yeah, because Dan's on holiday.
Yes.
It's not the sexy, handsome, modest one, anyway.
Just want to say a quick thank you to, oh God, how do you pronounce this? Jordan Penrose for the story that he's sent us on Facebook, which Lee will read and probably comment on.
Yes. We'll keep that quiet now.
We'll keep that one quiet for now, and we'll talk about that when Lee's actually read it and we've seen his response. It's on the Facebook messages. So we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
So you've got a week to read it and get over what gets said.
Yes.
Because I think we'll be.
There's a cliffhanger for next week.
There is. There might be a sports cry.
I don't know what's going on.
No, well, you haven't read it yet. So if you want to get in touch, feel free to tweet us at 3legs4wheels.
I'm at a total shunt.
At Flood21.
And mine is at Pablo100.
Yeah.
We've got the Facebook page as well. Just search for 3 Legs 4 Wheels. It always pops up. We've got the website, 3 Legs 4
Click the likey button.
Click the like button.
Yeah.
Follow 3 Legs 4 Wheels on Twitter and the rest of us. Email 3legs4wheels@gmail.com. Got the website 3legs4wheels.com, which will be seeing more action as we get closer to Australia.
Yeah.
And obviously that's where the live blogs are. And sorry, Chris, you look like you're about to say something.
No,
I was
no.
just about to say. And of course, there's the Patreon page as well.
Yes, there is.
We do an extra podcast every week for all our wonderful Patreon patrons.
Money can buy love.
It can also buy an extra podcast. Half an hour or so of us talking things that aren't Formula One.
40 minutes today.
40 minutes today. We had a variety of subjects. David Icke,
Yeah.
conspiracy theories, watching Jaws in a swimming pool,
Flat Earth.
Flat Earth. That was video games,
Yeah.
because Lee's got his Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
and he quite enjoys it.
Yeah, you should all go and buy one. It's really good.
And
Apparently.
anything like that. And there's other gifts and bonuses as well for subscribers, and it starts at $1 US a month. Cheap at half the price.
Yeah.
But we don't charge half the price. We will be back next week. We'll have a wrap up of everything that's gone on in week 2 of testing, and we're going to be doing a preview show in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks time.
2
2
weeks' time.
weeks, and we will be previewing an actual Grand Prix. So we've got a testing review and a race preview on the next 2 shows.
Oh.
It's been a long winter.
Get a vein up.
It's been a long, long winter.
But we've just about got through it, and there is actual Formula One things happening.
We're not holding hands, it sounds
We're,
like.
we're not. So thank you for sticking with us during the winter. Thanks to everyone that's joined us recently, because we've seen a decent increase in listeners.
Yeah,
a lot of new listeners coming. So
Welcome.
thank you.
Yeah, welcome new listeners.
You're welcome along. We just have fun. It's like your friends talking about Formula One. Hopefully, that's what we want to get across.
Not too friendly though, because that gets weird.
Yeah, just come on like a Facebook page.
Yeah. Just we kind of want to be like that. You know that person you see across the street. You got them as a Facebook friend.
Yeah.
You're right, mate. Bit of a wave. But like, no, we don't like the awkward conversations.
But we're not the Facebook friend who you're friends on Facebook with, and then you don't talk to them when you see them.
No. It's a solid hi. How you doing? And everyone's happy that everyone knows each other.
Yeah.
But there are conversations that go on the page as well.
Yeah, with other listeners. So
Yeah.
please
But come
and
and
join.
like the Facebook page, because we're pretty active on that. And like, I mean, realistically, what have we got? There's like 1,000 likes, over 1,000 likes.
It's
on
close
it.
to 1,200 now.
Yeah, and now but we should have thousands when you look at our numbers. And I know all you motherfuckers are on Facebook.
Yes, let's have a
So-
look. 1,170.
Yeah,
And we know there's more people listening to the podcast than that.
yeah. Well, we should have fucking 30 times that. So just go and do it now, and go and do it now, like now.
Right, you've done it? Great. Welcome back.
Now.
Right, well, we're going to go because I think people are getting bored of listening
Dave
to
hasn't
us.
done it. Dave, now.
We'll be back next week. We'll have a better idea of what the hell's going on,
Yeah.
because everyone will have tested. Clear out the sandbags and the bag sand.
Absolutely.
So we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.